Hello everyone, welcome to Nafis Learner Zone. So in the previous video we had discussed about the carbon compounds, why carbon is a versatile element. We had discussed halfway. There are some many other properties to be discussed that we are going to discuss in this video, as well as we have stopped with covalent bonding. We have seen that carbon undergoes covalent bonding. Now let us go in detail about covalent bonding. So what is covalent bonding? Let's take some example and try to understand. So the first is, let's take hydrogen. The first element in the periodic table, hydrogen, having atomic number 1. So this hydrogen has only one proton and one electron. So one electron, if it loses, there is nothing left in the hydrogen, or if it gains one, it gets stable configuration of helium. It undergoes in most of the inorganic compounds, it undergoes ionic bonding also, where it donates one electron and become H plus ion. Okay, that you have seen it happens. But along with that hydrogen, you know that in nature just hydrogen in the atomic form is not available. Hydrogen molecule is present. Whenever you write some reactions, or in any of the books you might have seen, we write H2, right? H2. We never represent only H, because only H is unstable. It doesn't exist in nature. H2, hydrogen molecule, is formed. How does the hydrogen molecule is formed? To understand and that, we should know covalent bonding. So hydrogen molecule is formed by, just you can check out here, there are two hydrogen atom having one electron in each. So it needs one more to attain the stability of helium. So what it does is, hydrogen, both hydrogen having one electron will be shared between each other. Now you can see both the hydrogen atom will have two in common, because they are sharing each other's electrons, and thereby they form one bond between two hydrogen atom, a single bond between two hydrogen atom. That single bond is a covalent bond. Okay, to enhance your knowledge more, let's take one more example. Let's take of the very important gas which is necessary for living. That's oxygen. You know that oxygen also, wherever you have seen, you might have seen we represented O2, not single O. Single O doesn't exist because it's unstable. O2 molecule is stable. Oxygen molecule. O2 means molecule. Only O means it's atomic oxygen. We represent in some reaction. You'll learn it later, but separately it doesn't exist. So O2, how this O2 is formed? Let's take oxygen. Oxygen has atomic number 8, electronic configuration 2, 6. So its valence is 2. It needs 2 electron. Let's take another oxygen, the same 2, 6. It also has valency 2. Both needs 2 more electron to be stable. So what it does, the 2 electrons, what it needs, they share. Okay, both the oxygen share the 2 electron lost. There is a bonding between the last 2 electrons of the oxygen. Thereby what happened, a double bond is formed between the oxygen. We can represent oxygen molecule as O double bond O, as the 2 electrons of first oxygen is common for the second. So it means 6 plus 2 8, and the 2 electrons of that second oxygen is common to this oxygen. So here also 6 plus 2 is 8. Now the oxygen is stable. It is shared. How it is shared, you can check out in the slide. You will get to know. It is shared. It is shared. Oxygen will share these electrons. Okay, that's double bond is formed. So single bond you got, double bond you got. There's one more type of bond here, that is triple bond. So triple bond, where it is formed, let's take another example of another gas which is the most abundant gas in the atmosphere. Yes, you are right, it's nitrogen. So nitrogen has atomic number 7, is 2, 5, right? So 5 valence electrons. So how many it needs to be stable? Yes, 3. You're right, 3. So valency is 3. Let's take another nitrogen. It also needs 3. So simple, need not to explain much for you now. So 3 and 3 electrons will be shared between two nitrogen, and how many bonds are formed? Yes, 3 bonds. A triple bond is formed between the two nitrogen atom. So N triple bond N, N2. So nitrogen also will be represented always as N2. Okay, then you can hope you can get. So whichever the elements we represent diatomic molecules. All the disease, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen are diatomic, chlorine is diatomic, fluorine is diatomic, bromine is diatomic. So all those which we represent, hope you have understood. They all are bonded by sharing of electrons, means they are covalently bonded, right? So let's see what are the properties of covalent compounds. Some covalent compounds like hydrogen, oxygen molecules, and there are polyatomic molecules also. Many different elements are bonded and form polyatomic compound. We are going to learn much detail. Don't worry about now. We are going to learn in detail about carbon compounds, where many types of compounds you cannot imagine at present. So they you can able to name many different compounds, complex compounds also you can able to name at the end of this chapter. Okay, so for that you have to watch all the videos of this series. You will get that, right? So first thing here is the properties of covalent compounds. These covalent compounds, how are they actually? So like we can compare with ionic compounds. Like ionic compounds, we call them as salts. They are formed by donation as well as acceptance of electron, losing and gaining of electron. They are called as salts. Here organic compounds are there which are usually found in organism. So means your body, my body is made up of organic compounds. Whatever the compounds present in our body, we call it as organic compounds. We take inorganic also. Suppose salt we take in inside, it's inorganic, but that will be broken down and again used to form some organic reactions, even plants, whatever. So organic compounds we do have, and we consume also organic compounds, plants, animals, whatever. So these organic compounds are covalent compounds. You have to remember one thing is the force of attraction is comparatively weaker in this covalent compounds compared to ionic bonds. Ionic bonds, the force of attraction is very strong because it is by donating and accepting the electron. So that's very strong bond will be formed in ionic compound, whereas covalent compound the bond is weaker. So what it means weaker means the thing is simple. Because the bond is weak, we can easily break its bond. We can easily break its bond means it's simple. If you take any organic compound, boil it, heat it, it breaks very easily. Takes petrol, diesel, or maybe the nail polish remover, acetone, which you use. The moment you have put on your hand, it evaporates very quickly. How it evaporates? It breaks bonds and then it turns into gases. It's very easily. Whereas compared to inorganic compounds, they are very strong. Their bond is strong. You cannot break bond easily with inorganic compounds. That is ionic compounds. Organic compound, the force of attraction is low, so melting point and boiling point will be low there. Generally, the organic compounds are liquid in nature, then solids also are available. We will learn in detail about hydrocarbons. We are going to discuss next. One important property of covalent compound you should remember is they are bad conductor of electricity. Okay, they doesn't conduct electricity in the solution form also. All the ionic compound, when you add in water, it conducts electricity, but covalent compound does not conduct electricity. It's very simple because ionic compound, when you add in water, it dissolves, in the sense it breaks into ions, and those ions when they move they carry the current, whereas covalent compound they cannot dissolve, they are insoluble in water. Okay, along with that link, the next point you can remember is organic compounds are insoluble in water, so they doesn't dissolve into dissociate into ions, and they doesn't conduct electricity. Whereas ionic compounds are soluble in water, they dissociate into ions. Organic compound, if you want to dissolve, you have to use any organic solvents like benzene, toluene, etc. There are many, you will learn it later. Inorganic compounds can be soluble in the universal solvent, that is our water. Okay, but this is organic compounds are not soluble. So these are the properties of covalent compounds. So with this bonding, then the carbon forms many compounds. Many in the sense you cannot even imagine. Every moment of your life you are using carbon compounds. The carbon, which is merely just fraction part on the earth crust, and just 0.3% in our atmosphere, finds way in every part of our daily life. So if you start brushing in the morning, right from there you are start using carbon. So right from there, your breakfast will have carbon compounds. You have glucose. Glucose is C6H12O6. It's nothing but carbon. It has, every food contains carbon. If you use any cosmetics for your makeup, for your to enhance your beauty, so those cosmetic products will have carbon compounds. That's nothing but hydrocarbons. If you are using any vehicle, the fuel which you use, that also has carbon in it, so that's nothing but the carbon fuels. Then every other thing, almost every other thing which you use, it has carbon. Okay, so that is why I have called in the previous video, carbon is a versatile element. So one thing you have seen, that along with that there are two other properties of carbon which makes this carbon versatile. Along with those two properties and detail of the hydrocarbons, we are going to discuss in my next video. Come back to watch that. That is very important for your exam point of view. A very important, two very important questions will be discussed in that video. Don't miss that. And now don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.